This is Art with Kenneth. Hosted by artist Kenneth J. Lewis Sr. This channel takes viewers inside the studio, where paintings are built in real time and ideas take shape through process, patience, and intent. Each session reveals how structure, history, and emotion come together on the canvas. This is not a highlight reel. It's the work, unfolding.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Art with Kenneth. I'm Kenneth J. Lewis Sr., and I'm glad you joined me for another painting journey. Today's project is one that I've really been looking forward to creating. The painting is titled The Walk Toward Tomorrow, and it depicts three young students during the late 1920s and early 1930s as they make their way to school. Although this image is inspired by historical reference material, my goal isn't simply to reproduce a photograph. My goal is to create a painting that captures the feeling, dignity, and determination of that period in American history. What immediately drew me to this composition were the expressions on the children's faces. They aren't smiling, they aren't posing for the camera, and they aren't distracted. Instead, they appear thoughtful and focused, almost as if they're already thinking about the day ahead. There's something powerful about that quiet determination, and I think it tells a much deeper story than a posed portrait ever could. As always, I'll begin by preparing my painting surface. Today I'm working on an architectural panel, which I enjoy because it provides an incredibly stable foundation for oil painting. I'll first apply several coats of gesso to seal the surface and give it just enough tooth for the charcoal drawing. Once the panel is prepared, I'll sketch the composition using charcoal. I enjoy working this way because charcoal allows me to make adjustments before committing to paint. It's still a drawing at this point, and I can move features, change proportions, or simplify shapes if I feel the composition needs it. After I'm satisfied with the drawing, I'll apply fixative to keep the charcoal from mixing into the oil paint from there. I'll begin the underpainting using a very thin transparent layer of raw sienna oil paint from Lukas Studio Oils. I like starting with raw sienna because it immediately removes the harsh white of the panel and replaces it with a warm earth tone that ties the entire painting together. Then the real fun begins as I slowly develop the painting in oil, building layers and adjusting colors, refining forms, and allowing the brushwork to remain expressive rather than overly polished. Later in this series, I'll also be building a custom wooden frame specifically for this painting. I always enjoy making a frame because I believe it becomes part of the artwork itself, and I'll share that entire process in a future episode. So let's get started. One of the things I enjoy most about painting historical subjects is learning about the time period itself. The late 1920s and early 1930s were years of tremendous change in America. Families were experiencing both opportunity and hardship. The country had entered the Great Depression. Jobs were becoming scarce, and many households struggled simply to make ends meet. Yet despite all of those challenges, education continued to be viewed as one of the greatest investments a family could make. Parents often sacrificed so their children could attend school regularly because they believed education offers something that couldn't be taken away. It represented hope. It represented possibility. It represented a chance for a better future than the one they themselves may have experienced. When I look at these three children, I don't simply see students. I see families placing their faith in tomorrow. Sometimes a simple walk to school carries far more meaning than we realize. One of the first things people notice about historical photographs from this era is how well dressed everyone appears. Today, children often go to school wearing t-shirts, hoodies, sneakers, and casual clothing. During the 1920s and 1930s, however, dressing well was simply expected. The boys in this painting wear jackets, collared shirts, ties, and felt hats. Their clothing wasn't necessarily expensive, but it was cared for. Clothes were repaired rather than replaced. Shoes were polished. Jackets were often handed down from older siblings. People simply took pride in how they presented themselves. The The young girl is wearing what appears to be a cloaked hat, one of the most recognizable fashion trends of the 1920s. The close-fitting design became popular because it was a practical while still being stylish. Even children's clothing reflected the values of the time. Appearance communicated respect, not necessarily wealth, but respect for yourself, your family, your teachers, the community. It's fascinating how fashion can become a window into an entire culture. The expressions on these children's faces are one of the reasons I chose this image. They aren't laughing, they aren't playing, they aren't distracted, they're quietly focused. Sometimes modern viewers interpret serious expressions as sadness, but historically, that often wasn't the case. Photography required people to sit still for several moments, making portraits naturally, resulting in more serious expressions. Beyond that, life itself demanded maturity at a much younger age. Many children had responsibilities before and after school. Some helped care for younger siblings, others worked around the home or contributed to family businesses. When I paint these faces, I'm trying to capture dignity more than emotion. Their quiet expressions allow the viewer to imagine their own story. I think that's one of the most beautiful things about portrait painting. Sometimes saying less allows the viewer to feel more. One thing I intentionally like about this composition is how tightly cropped the figures are. Instead of showing a wide street scene, most of our attention stays focused on the children themselves. The architecture in the background becomes almost secondary. It provides context without competing for attention. As painters, we don't always need to tell the entire story with every detail. Sometimes simplifying the background actually strengthens the narrative because it directs the viewer exactly where we want them to look. For me, the story isn't really about the buildings, it's about the people moving through them. Education has always fascinated me as a subject for painting because it represents something much larger than classrooms and books. Every generation hopes the next will have greater opportunities. That hope has existed for centuries. Education creates possibilities. It creates confidence. It creates independence. It opens doors that might otherwise remain closed. Whether someone becomes a teacher, an artist, a scientist, a carpenter, or an entrepreneur, learning is usually where that journey begins. These children may simply be walking to school, but symbolically, they're walking toward their future. That's really why I chose the title, The Walk Toward Tomorrow. Tomorrow begins with the decisions we make today. One of the questions I receive fairly often is why I don't simply begin painting directly onto a white surface. For me, an underpainting creates harmony from the beginning. Today, I'm using a thin wash of raw sienna oil paint. It's transparent enough that the drawing still shows through, but warm enough to establish an overall atmosphere for the painting. As additional colors are layered over the surface, little hints of that warm earth tone will continue to peek through. Those small glimpses of color help unify the painting without the viewer even realizing why everything feels connected. It's one of those simple techniques that can have a tremendous impact on the finished work. Today, I'm painting on an architectural panel rather than stretched canvas. I enjoy working on panels because they're extremely rigid and don't flex while I'm painting. That stability allows me to build multiple layers of oil paint without worrying about movement in the surface. Once the panel has been properly sealed with gesso, it becomes a wonderful painting support. It also allows me to sand between layers if I choose or create textures that will be more difficult on stretched canvases. Every artist eventually discovers the surface they enjoy most. For me, panels have become one of my favorite, probably I would say 50-50. One of the questions I occasionally receive is whether I'm trying to recreate historically exactly as it happened. The answer is no. I'm trying to interpret history. There's an important difference. The reference image gives me information. The painting gives me expression. I'm not interested in copying every wrinkle, every shadow, or every detail exactly. Instead, I'm asking myself what I want the viewer to feel when they stand in front of the finished painting. That's where artistic decisions begin. Brushstrokes become looser, colors become richer, edges become softer, shapes become simplified. The painting slowly becomes less about the documentation and more about storytelling. That's where I believe art becomes most powerful. As I work on this painting, I'd like to share a quick update on another project that's very close to my heart. Over the past several months, I've been creating a collection called Bound for Promise, made up of 17 original paintings that celebrate positive images of young boys. Each painting is symbolic, representing one of the first 17 formative years of life. Alongside every image is a written reflection exploring the significance of that stage of development and how the values, experiences, and opportunities received during those early years can have a lasting impact throughout our lives. I'll be sharing much more about the project in a dedicated video very soon. I also wanted to let you know that I've moved the Bound for Promise exhibition and book launch to Saturday, September 12, 2026. I want to give each painting the time and attention it deserves before sharing the complete collection. The first edition collector's book is still available at the special pre-order price for those who would like to reserve a signed and numbered copy. You'll find the pre-order link along with my Buy Me a Coffee link to help support the channel and future projects in the description below. Now let's get back to the painting and continuing bringing this piece to life, one brush stroke at a time. Thank you so much for joining me today as we begin the walk toward tomorrow. This painting is still in its early stages, but every painting begins the same way, with preparation, a simple drawing, and the willingness to trust the process one brushstroke at a time. In the next episode, we'll continue developing the oil painting by adding richer color, refining the figures, and bringing more life and atmosphere into the composition. And once the painting is complete, I'll also take you behind the scenes as I build a custom handcrafted frame designed specifically for this piece. I enjoy creating the frame because I see it as an extension of the artwork rather than simply something that surrounds it. If you've enjoyed spending time with me in the studio, I hope you'll subscribe to Art with Kenneth and follow along as this painting continues to develop from the first charcoal lines to the final brush strokes. Thank you again for watching. Until next time, keep creating, keep learning, and never stop appreciating the stories that art allows us to preserve for future generations.
Thank you for joining Kenneth today on Art with Kenneth. Your support truly means the world to him. Every view, every comment, every share helps keep independent art alive and growing. Through each episode, Kenneth J. Lewis Sr. brings you into the studio, into the process, and into the mindset of a working artist who lives and breathes creativity every single day. If today's episode inspired you, taught you something new, or simply gave you a moment of peace, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps expand the reach of the channel and builds a stronger creative community around the work. He looks forward to creating with you again soon. And remember, every masterpiece begins with a single brushstroke. See you next time.